Tuesday morning. We are back on the road live from New York Jets training camp this morning. We're going to talk to a bunch of players, the head coach and the general manager, the first of which you're going to hear from in 15 minutes. C.J. Mosley, linebacker, will be joining us, and Jordan Whitehead after that. Rob Saleh is going to sit down with us. Zach Wilson will sit down with us, and Joe Douglas as well. So we're going to give you a ton of Jets this morning in addition to the baseball. We've got a Yankees win finally, but a loss in Matt Carpenter as he is going to be out most likely for the year with a broken foot. The Mets win again, impressive performance by Chris Bassett. And yesterday in NBA news, I'm smiling again. I got a little nervous. I thought both these guys were going to come back to the Nets and we'd have to deal with them again and deal with all the drama and the nonsense, and maybe they'd figure it out, and as Knicks fans, we'd be annoyed by that. But no, this meeting between Joe Tsai and Kevin Durant went just perfectly for the Nets hater as he demanded that it's either him or the general manager and the head coach, by the way, that he handpicked. He has orchestrated this whole thing and now wants to blow it up again. Good morning, Boomer. How are you?
Hey, good morning, G. I'm doing great, and it's great to be out here in Florham Park. I mean, this place is still more amazing every time I come here. This is like true professional football.
Yeah.
I mean, it is crazy how beautiful this place is. And I have to say, I don't know why they have one lane closed in the Holland Tunnel. I have no idea. Like, they have, like, just cones in the Holland Tunnel leaving New York City coming to New Jersey. And I don't know why the cones are there.
Well, we don't have we can't even use it going from New Jersey.
Yeah, I know you can't, but
Manhattan.
I don't know. Well, why do they have the cones on the other side?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know why either. There's nobody in there. Somebody just placed cones and then left, and you're only allowed to be in one lane. So I'm not really sure why, but somebody may be able to tell us after the show is over. That would be really nice. But this Kevin Durant thing. See, this is what Donovan Mitchell needs to do to Utah. This
full psycho. Got to go full psycho.
That's exactly right, because that's exactly what Kevin Durant is doing. And basically, he's putting the owner in a box, in a corner. He's going, look, you either get rid of those guys or you get rid of me. So he knows the owner likes Sean Marks and he likes Steve Nash, and he's going to support his front office. And we know that because Joe Tsai tweeted that after this story came out. And I just think that, this is your typical NBA baby move. And, I'm going to, take my ball and go home. And I want what I want, even though you gave me a $198 million extension on the day that you signed that a year ago is the day that you basically gave this ultimatum to your owner. I mean, it's like if you are an NBA owner right now, you guys have got to get into a room and say, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know if you can,
absolutely ridiculous.
I don't think you can go back on this, though, because it happens over and over and over again. The player always gets what he wants. The only thing that was close to a team winning the battle was the Ben Simmons situation, as they didn't trade him for a long time until the James Harden deal. I don't know. I mean, I think that stars as big as Kevin Durant are always going to get what they want. This, to me, as you mentioned, the typical NBA baby thing, I think it's actually the worst one ever.
Yes.
Because this is Kevin Durant, who got everything he wanted. He told Sean Marks what he wanted. He went out and did it. Hiring Steve Nash was one of those things, and now he's setting an ultimatum saying it's either those guys or me. Those guys are you. He's trying to fire himself, essentially, because he handpicked the coach, and he told the general manager everything that he wanted to do, and now he doesn't want any part of those guys?
Well, I just figured this is the way for him to really exert even more pressure on the Nets to trade him. And he's doing it by making the owner choose between front office. And, and he realizes that the owner's not going to want to change front offices now. He's not going to want to change coaches now. So he's playing this game, and he's putting him in a box. And then, of course, comes the Kyrie Irving quotes or the thoughts that, Kyrie hates these guys too.
Sure.
Meanwhile, like Kyrie's like the easiest guy to deal with. Like, maybe they hate him too.
Of course
maybe
they
they're
do.
Sick of his crap.
Well, Sean Marks said as much.
Come on.
In a couched way, but he said as much. I mean, what could they be that upset about? Now, I understand that Steve Nash looked like he was out-coached in that Celtics series. There's no doubt about it. But Kevin Durant wanted Steve Nash to be there. And throughout the year, all we did was talk about how Steve Nash never criticized these guys, never said anything about Kyrie Irving, never said anything bad about Kevin Durant, never said anything bad about James Harden. All he did is have these guys back the entire time. So, I mean, what are you really upset about? Are you upset that they didn't allow Kyrie to play in the road games in the beginning of the season? I mean, is that the thing that changed everything? Because it just seems to me that they're not taking any responsibility themselves, and it's all pointing pointing fingers to this organization that they told what to do. I've never seen anything like this.
This is like about as bad as it gets. I don't care what anybody says, and this is why the NBA player, I can't stand it. I hate it.
It's gotten so bad. I mean, it really is. This is the worst one ever. I mean, we've seen some really bad ones. The Anthony Davis one, the James Harden one in Houston. This one is probably the worst because it's two guys, and it's gotten to the point now. I mean, there was zero success with these guys. I mean, when you think about what the expectation was, they have had zero success, and now they're really trying to force themselves out. And, oh, by the way, I don't know where Kevin Durant's going to go. I mean, if the trade was out there for the Nets that made sense for them, it already would have happened. So I don't know where the landing spot is going to be. I don't think it's that easy.
And the other thing that you have to remember now is that Kevin Durant is here, just drilling Joe Tsai and telling him that, it's either me or the front office. So just think where he wants to go. It's where he wants to go. That's where it's, and he may they end up come on, we start over. They may end up forcing the Nets to take less than they would like to just to make him happy to send him to a team he'd want to go to. And I'm telling you, he wants to go to Miami. That's what I think.
Yeah.
Of course, everybody wants to go to Miami. Tyreek Hill wanted to go to Miami as opposed to coming to the Jets.
Sure.
Kansas City accepted both the offer from the Jets and also the Miami Dolphins.
That's right.
And Tyreek Hill said, I want to go to Miami.
Yeah.
This guy, he doesn't want to go to Boston.
No,
you think he wants to go to Boston? No.
Probably not. I mean, I do think
he
wants to win. In Miami, you can win there, too.
But he wants to win.
I do think he
this
does.
kind of attitude, you don't win with this kind of attitude.
Yeah.
He's not a winning player. Steph Curry's a winning player.
Sure.
That's, Klay Thompson is a winning player. Draymond Green is a winning player, although he's going to be a pain in the neck for the Golden State Warriors over the next 6 months. But this guy is just, the more this kind of crap happens, just the more lack of respect I have for him. I mean,
and you did have a lot of respect for him. You did throughout the season.
Course.
I mean, it was all about Kyrie. It wasn't really about Kevin Durant. And you were basically saying, how are you attaching yourself to Kyrie when you're a player of your magnitude?
And now you're pulling this.
Right. I mean, he probably does not care. He did say something about his legacy on Twitter once, where he basically said it was torched once he decided to go from Oklahoma City to Golden State. So he doesn't care about how it looks anymore. So that's why I think he's taking it to the nth degree. I mean, he doesn't have any idea or any concern about how this looks publicly anymore. He's just going to do whatever it takes to get what he wants.
This is a franchise. To get him here, paid him not to play. They paid him a full salary, and he got hurt by playing with the Golden State Warriors, and he came to the Nets with Kyrie Irving, and the Nets paid him essentially a year to rehab, and they paid him a full boat salary. And then last year at this time, he signed his 4-year, $98 or $194 million contract. I mean, think how much money the Brooklyn Nets have committed to this player for this player to say what he said about Sean Marks and Steve Nash. It's a disgrace. It is so insulting that I'm glad to hear that Joe Tsai came out and said, I'm supporting my front office. But he's playing the NBA baby game where I'm going to box my owner in, so he has to trade me. He has no choice but to trade me. And guess what? He better trade me where I want to go, because if he trades me somewhere where I don't want to go, I'll be that team's pain in the ass.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm just telling you, it's ridiculous, and that's why NBA owners better get a hold of their league.
They never will, though.
They better.
I mean, they won't.
They better.
I think at one breath they're probably frustrated with this, but at the other, I think Adam Silver's like, "Hey, this is great for the league, even though it's negativity. They're talking about us nonstop."
You think Adam Silver thinks this is great for the league?
I bet you that there's the attention that they have throughout the offseason is not a bad thing. I mean, this became the number one.
Though.
Yeah, it's bad, but at the same time, it's not like a crime or anything like that. We're not talking about like Deshaun Watson. We're talking about guys switching teams. I mean, it's become an all year. The offseason is more interesting than the regular season.
Well, my point is, what does a guaranteed contract mean anymore?
Nothing in the NBA.
Mean, from the player's perspective, it means nothing. From the ownership perspective, that means that money's guaranteed no matter what that player does.
Yeah.
I mean, it's such a one-sided deal. I mean, I don't even. Hey, look. Good riddance as far as I'm concerned. And when they signed here, to watch how this thing is completely imploded and how Kyrie Irving torched this entire team, and now this from a guy that, we all had great respect for as a player and somebody who we all know is a first ballot Hall of Famer. And when his career is done, he'll go down as one of the top 10 players of all time because of his size, his ability, and the things that he brings to the court. But this kind of crap, going to an owner that, think about this, that has paid you over $300 million.
Yeah, basically giving him an ultimatum saying, fire the guys that, one, I handpicked, and two, basically has done everything I've asked him to do. Fire those guys.
So he knows that is unrealistic, that's not happening. So what he's doing, like I said, he's placing Joe Tsai, the owner, into a box and saying, hey, now you got to trade me because I just went full psycho on you.
Yeah, and Joe Tsai did tweet out that he gives support to the head coach in the front office. So, I mean, Kevin Durant, if that's what he's doing to try to get out of here, then it's probably going to work. Now, I wonder about Kyrie Irving because, there were some reports about him saying that he was committed to the Nets and he opted in and he was going to play for the Nets no matter what happened with Kevin Durant. There was those reports. And now, yesterday, the sources saying that Kyrie Irving hates these guys, meaning Steve Nash and Sean Marks. So I don't know what the hell's going on with him, but he's also another guy that I have no idea who wants him. Who's going to take him?
Kyrie Irving hates those guys. Like, he's the one that torpedoed the entire team. They're the ones that should be hating on Kyrie. They're the ones that should be saying, you know what, Kyrie's a maniac, and we need to get him the hell out of here. And, again, it's like the self-awareness is completely gone in this case when it comes to Kyrie. Has no idea how other people see him. And he could be a deep thinker as he wants, and he can do whatever the hell he wants away from the basketball court. You had a responsibility to this franchise. You brought Kevin Durant here, and you torpedoed the entire thing. I mean, it's up, I didn't know what to expect. I figured, all right, he's coming home. He's going to be playing for the team that he supposedly loved when he was a kid and all this other stuff. Okay, great. But at the end of the day, I mean, he basically has just ruined this franchise.
All right, we do have to take an early break because we've got lots of Jets guests today. C.J. Mosley is going to join us in a couple of minutes. It is Boomer and Gio live from Jets training camp.